Welcome, aspirants. Today, we're breaking down the IUCN World Conservation Congress that just happened in Abu Dhabi. Now, if you're prepping for exams, you're definitely going to want to pay close attention because we're pulling out all the key points, especially India's major role and the critical data you absolutely need to know. So let's kick things off with a pretty big question, right? It's a question this entire Congress tries to answer. How do we, as a planet, decide what to save? It's about way more than just individual species. It's about a global strategy. And as you'll see, India really stepped up as a major player in shaping that strategy this year. Here's our game plan. First, we'll get the lay of the land, what this whole Congress thing is about. Then we're going to zoom right in on India's proactive moves at the summit. After that, we'll tackle the brand new and pretty stark data from the global red list update. And to finish it all off, we'll wrap everything up into the most important takeaways for your studies. Let's do this. All right, first things first. Let's set the stage. What exactly is this massive event that brings the entire world together for nature? Think of it as the Parliament for Nature. Seriously, it happens every 4 years, and it's where over 1,400 members, we're talking governments, NGOs, indigenous groups, the whole shebang, come together to basically set the global conservation agenda for the next decade. It's a massive deal. Now, the Congress isn't just one long, boring meeting. It has 3 key parts. You've got the forum, which is like a huge marketplace for new ideas in science. There's the exhibition, where organizations show off their amazing work. But the real powerhouse, the part that matters most for policy, is the members' assembly. That's where the critical votes happen and actual decisions get made. Okay, let's pivot to the really exciting part, India's role at the Congress. Because let me tell you, India didn't just show up to listen. Nope. It arrived on day 1 with a bold, proactive plan that really set a new tone. On October 9th, right out of the gate, India made a huge announcement. The Union Minister of State, Shri Kirtivardhan Singh, launched India's vision for its own national red list. This quote right here perfectly captures that mission, making our conservation efforts nationally coordinated, inclusive, and totally science-based. So here's a term you need to highlight in your notes, NRLA, National Red List Assessment. But why is this such a game changer? Well, because for the first time, this shifts India from just being a consumer of global threat data to becoming a creator of its own. We're talking hyperlocal, scientifically rigorous assessments. It means our conservation policies can be tailor-made for Indian ecosystems, which makes them way more effective. And look, this isn't just some vague promise. It is a time-bound mission. You can see it's being led by our top institutions, the ZSI and BSI, and they have a crystal clear goal for 2030. This is a huge step in fulfilling India's commitments under the Kunming-Montreal Global Biodiversity Framework. And remember, that's that landmark global agreement to stop and reverse nature loss by the end of this decade. Now, India's strategy isn't just about forests and wildlife. It's about our entire human environment. A couple of days later, on October 11th, the conversation shifted to connecting biodiversity with our growing cities. This whole approach is guided by the Prime Minister's Mission Life, that global call for pro-planet lifestyles, and it's being put into action through real-world schemes like the Smart Cities Mission and AMRIT, which are baking sustainability right into the heart of how our cities grow. All right, buckle up for the big data drop. On October 10th, the IUCN released its latest update to the red list of threatened species. You can think of this as a critical health checkup, a pulse check, for our planet's biodiversity. So let's just start with the headline number. Out of all the species they've assessed so far, this is how many are now officially threatened with extinction. 48,646. As this chart shows, that's nearly a third of all evaluated species facing a direct extinction threat. And what's almost as worrying is that huge slice for data deficient. It's a massive blind spot. It tells us there's still so much we just don't know about the true state of our planet's health. But you know what? The update wasn't all doom and gloom, and this is so important for a nuanced answer. It was a mixed picture. On one hand, yeah, you have climate change pushing Arctic seals, like the hooded seal, closer to the edge. But on the other hand, we have this huge success story, the green sea turtle. Decades of dedicated conservation work have helped its population rebound spectacularly. It is powerful proof that when we actually commit to action, it works. And here is a data point that really shows the acceleration of the crisis. This is perfect for your notes. Just look at this jump in declining bird populations. It's gone from 44% in 2016 to 61% today. That is a staggering increase in less than a decade, and it's mostly driven by things like habitat loss from agriculture and logging. The report also kept bringing up this term, keystone species. This is another vital concept for you to grasp. Think of them as the crucial Jenga block in an ecosystem. You pull it out, and the whole thing can collapse. Species like Arctic seals or India's incredible hornbills have this huge, outsized effect on their environment. The takeaway? Protecting them is a force multiplier. You save the keystone, and you help stabilize the entire ecological structure around it. So, faced with all this pretty sobering data, what's the global plan? What's the path forward? This next section covers the strategic blueprint that was hammered out at the Congress. To make sense of the 5 core themes that guided pretty much every discussion, here is a fantastic mnemonic for your exam prep. Just remember REDS. That's R for resilient conservation, E for equity, D for disruptive innovation, another D for decarbonization, and S for sustainable economies. It's a simple, powerful tool for quick revision. And what's crucial is that this wasn't just a bunch of talk. The Members' Assembly, the real decision-making engine of the Congress, remember? They passed concrete resolutions on things like sustainable agriculture and protecting ancient forests. And look at that support, over 90% consensus. That is how those REDS themes get translated from ideas into actual global policy direction. Okay, let's boil everything we've covered down into a final high-value revision section. If you remember nothing else from this, remember what's on these next 2 slides. This is your takeaway. Go ahead and screenshot this slide right now. It has the essential jargon and data points you're most likely to need. The key terms, NRLA, KMGBF, and keystone species. And the key numbers, the 48,000 threatened species, the 61% bird decline, and a reminder of India's own incredible biodiversity. And this second summary slide brings it all home. It highlights India's leadership and the global path ahead. Remember India's key initiatives, that NRLA roadmap, and the push for sustainable lifestyles with Mission Life. The global way forward? It's all about implementing the frameworks we already have, shifting our economies to be nature positive, and, of course, working together. And we'll end with a thought for you to chew on, maybe for your essays or interviews. The real challenge now is shifting from setting these big global policies to driving local implementation. So the question is, how will we, as individuals and as communities, translate these high-level goals into the real, on-the-ground action that will ultimately decide our planet's future?